Hey everybody, good evening. Monday night has come round again. I am Melissa Amos and I'm here for this week's episode of Soul Speak. Today we are going to be diving into the very juicy subject of the law of attraction and manifesting. So I am super excited to be talking about this. It is one of my favorite subjects. It was one of the first things that I got into in spirituality after Reiki, and yeah, I love it. I could talk for days about it, so this might be a two-parter. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to come on. I have no idea if this has gone live on my page or not because I'm doing this through the event, just trying things out. So if you're here, then please drop me a comment and I will see if they come up. I would absolutely love to take your questions. Hey Ada, hey Kerry. Yeah, I'd love to take your questions. I've got a couple that have been submitted in as well. I would love to hear your experiences and yeah, what you know about the law of attraction. Hey Annika. And if you know anybody that would enjoy this video or that is, they're just getting into this stuff, or you've been trying to talk to them about the law of attraction goodness, and yeah, you think that they'll be interested, then share this video or tag them below or invite them to the event, and yeah, we'll get them on. And as always, anyone who shares the live, I will pop you in a prize draw and you will receive one of my live workshops for free. So that's all you need to do. Okay, hey Katja, I can see some people joining, so let's get straight into it, shall we? You know what, I'm going to clean the screen, very unprofessional. I'm back, hi. Okay, so the law of attraction. Hey Beth, you made it live, lovely to see you. The law of attraction, what is it? Is it a law? What's going on here? So for me, I first heard about the law of attraction when I was, looking into psychology. Now, some of you may know that I was blessed to grow up with a grandma who was into hypnotherapy. She was a hypnotherapist and she studied neuro-linguistic programming. And if you don't know about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it's all about how our language, the linguistics, affects our neuro, which is our brain, and how that programs us. And I remember hearing this quote then, Henry Ford, I believe. Fun fact, I used to work at Ford, so this was quite pertinent for me. And the quote was, if you say you can or you say you can't, you're probably right. And I remember thinking, I was a teenager at the time, thinking, yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. And I could track back in my life when there was something that I believed I was good at or thought was something that I could do easily, or, you tell yourself things and they come true. And I thought, okay, that makes sense to me. So maybe it is that as I start to think about something, I start to see that in my reality. This is that typical thing that as a child you hear, your teacher says, oh, she's really good at English, but she's not so good at maths, or, well, she's very creative. And you start to run this narrative in your head. And is it that you were good at English and not at maths, and that's true, and so that's how it shows up for you? Or is it that belief was stored into you, so when maths comes, you think, oh, I'm no good at that, I'm not going to do it. And when English comes, you're like, yeah, I'm a breeze, I find that really easy. That was always an interesting discussion for me to have. So for me, that was kind of where it started. And I would play with that. And funnily enough, I just had this memory come in. I remember when I was this is so silly, when I was about 7 or 8, I think, I was at school and one of my friends was suffering from hay fever. She was like, oh, I get hay fever. And I was thinking, well, that sounds cool. What's hay fever? And I remember having this flower and going, I wish I had hay fever. And no joke, within a minute I was sneezing. And then I had another friend who got glasses, and I remember thinking, I wish I had glasses. And within a few months, I had glasses, which I regret to this day because I am still trying to use said law to reverse that. And I'm still resisting, as you can see, no glasses. Anyway, I digress. So this was the sort of thing that I guess I used to play around with when I was a kid. Now, fast forward to after I learnt Reiki, and somebody said to me, Melissa, have you read The Secret? I was like, no, what's The Secret? And I was all intrigued, and she gave me this gorgeous little brown book which had like a picture of a stamp, you know, those wax stamps on it. And I thought, oh, this looks intriguing. And I started to read. And this book, if you've not read it, is all about how you're, moral of the story, Kerry says, be careful what you wish for, exactly. So this book was all about, well, when you have a thought, it creates a thing. And it went further than this neuro-linguistic programming and this kind of psychological aspect of it, in that it explains that there is this vibrational law in place, that as you think something, which is a vibration, you know, science has shown that as we think, that creates a resonance. And this book explains that as we think it, then this thing starts to come with us. And actually it goes even further, and it says that if you can perceive it, then you can conceive it. If it's something that you can bring into your mind, if you can create a picture and you can hold that picture on, you can bring it in. I'm interested how many of you have had that kind of experience before. But I remember reading this book and being really excited about all the wonderful things. I'll read that in a minute, Beth, that's funny. I remember being so excited about all the amazing things that I could manifest, and looking back in my life thinking, yes, I manifested this or I manifested that. Like I'd just started a new job, which I'd manifested, and I could see how these things happen. Now, I remember being on holiday. This was not long after, I just read The Secret, and I was all like super enthusiastic. And we were in San Francisco, which, if you know, that is a place that is known for earthquakes. Anyway, one day we're sitting on this subway and we're going under the water there. And I had this thought, like, what if there's going to be an earthquake? And I remember thinking, oh my God, I am going to create an earthquake. I've just thought there's an earthquake. I'm going to create an earthquake, right? I just read this book, My Thoughts Create Things. And I'm sitting there going, like, panicking that because I thought it, maybe I'd psychically received it. Maybe I'd now created it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I thought, okay, I had learned something else. Now, also I'd learned this through neuro-linguistic programming and through, some other things I'd been reading. That the universe only, and your brain, only understands in the positive. So what does that mean? That means that the word don't gets deleted or not gets deleted. So if you want, if you want to remember something, the worst thing that you can say is, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Because then what your brain hears is, forget, 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 right? The don't gets deleted. It doesn't, your brain doesn't hear that. It's like if I say to you, don't think of an orange penguin. You have to create an orange penguin in your mind in order to not go, oh no, I'm not meant to be thinking about it, right? That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So I remember thinking all of this, that, okay, well, it only creates a positive, and here I am thinking that there's going to be an earthquake. What can I do? So this is what I did. I looked at my feet and I was like, okay, My feet are still. Still is the opposite of an earthquake. What's the opposite of being unsafe, of like total carnage? And I just remember saying to myself, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. I then went further than that. I looked around me and I was like, right in this moment, I am protected. I am held, and we are moving towards our destination. I then went a step further and I thought, okay, what am I going to be doing when I get there? I'm going to be having fun. We're going to be going to the Cheesecake Factory. Of course we are. We're going to go and see the Golden Gate Bridge. We're going to do all of this. And I started to create in my mind what's going to happen. So rather than put into panic, or rather than go, no earthquake, no earthquake, no earthquake, I started to create how I wanted the day to pan out. And then I saw myself, we had a family dinner at the end of the day. I saw myself there at the end of the day at this family dinner. Guess what? We got to the Cheesecake Factory, hardly any queue, did the Golden Gate Bridge, we did all of that stuff, came home, get to my aunt's and had an awesome day. Okay? So this, for me, threw up a whole lot of stuff about The Secret, and I hear it to this day. I don't know how many of you that are watching have read The Secret or watched The Secret film, but here's my beef with it. It left me thinking that if I think something, it's going to happen. Yes, I am a powerful creature. Yes, my thoughts have a resonance. But where I had an issue, and where I often see this time and time again, is that people think, well, if I have a negative thought, I am going to create negative outcome. Susie, you found a copy. Awesome. Have a read of it, but read it with these things in mind, and I'll recommend some other books a bit later on. It's not as simple as that, okay? And it's not as simple as if I have a negative thought, it's going to happen. But it can happen. It was good for its time, but we understand it more these days. I think The Secret, yeah, Beth, I think you're absolutely right. I think that The Secret, for me, was a great launching pad. It made me realise that there is so much potential out there, and it's really helped me understand that it is that simple, that I can create something, and I have seen it and I have done it time and time again. Let me just tell you this other little story. So obviously after the earthquake or lack of incident, I was talking to my sister-in-law, who is a lawyer, and I'm all excited about this thing. We were on holiday and we were flying to Florida the next day or a couple of days later. And I was saying to her about law of attraction, and like, look, this is how we got into the Cheesecake Factory really quickly, because I was holding that image and blah, blah, blah. She was like, well, what kind of thing can you create? And I said, well, we could create Disney tickets. And she went, how are we going to do that? And I said, I don't know. And I didn't know. I was like, but, we can create free Disney tickets. And she was like, okay. Are we going to do it? I was like, I don't know. Let's put it out there. So we put it out there. I kid you not. Within less than 24 hours, it was like the following morning, my brother comes in. He didn't hear this conversation. There's nothing to do with him. And he went, bagged us 4 free Disney tickets. And me and my sister-in-law were like, how did that even happen? So what happened there? I had this thought, let's create Disney tickets, right? I saw it in my mind that I didn't know how, I wasn't attached to the outcome. Let's face it, if I didn't get free Disney tickets, it wasn't the end of the world. I could have, we could have gone and bought the Disney tickets, but we put that out there. I fueled that with a load of excitement, right? And I saw, and I was like, how awesome would it be? Because I told my sister-in-law, and I was totally trying to sell her the idea of the law of attraction and that it definitely worked. Bear in mind, I'd only really just read the book and was still kind of testing out the waters. And but I was super excited about it, and I believed that it was possible. I didn't put round any rings. I didn't think, oh, okay, well, to get the free Disney tickets, I have to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't even go onto Google or whatever and go, how did I, free Disney tickets or anything. I just left it out there. I was unattached to the outcome. But my feeling wasn't of lack. It wasn't of, oh, well, I've got to, Disney tickets are really expensive, blah, 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 blah. It was just like, yeah, we can, we were planning what we were going to do in Disney. I was holding the image of going and having a good time and going on the coasters and doing all that cool stuff. And there, the Disney tickets landed in our lap. And it goes further than that, because we were there in the middle of spring break. And if you've ever been to Disney in the middle of spring break, it is busy. And I said, what is more, we are going to get on every single ride without queuing. And I remember even then thinking, why are you pushing it, Mel? Just calm it. But you know what? We got on every single ride without queuing. Every one that we wanted to go on. And we have one of them park hopper things. And at about 2 o'clock, having gone on every ride, and my sister-in-law, my whole family going, how are you doing this? And I'm like, yeah, it's like magic. Until we got to, what was the park? The Hollywood Studios or whatever it's called now. And there was this ride there called the Tower of Terror. I don't like the Tower of Terror. If you don't know the Tower of Terror, it's it's like you're in a lift and the lift comes straight down. It's not my thing. And I remember looking at that ride going, I do not want to go on it. And my brother saying, if the queue's more than an hour, we're not going on it. And I was like, the queue more than an hour. Guess what? The queue was more than an hour. That was it. Then for the next 4 hours, there was queues everywhere. It's like I'd broken my thing. But what happened there? What got in there? The energy of fear, of lack, of I do not want this anymore, overrode this feeling of joy and of, adventure. So what did that teach me? I'm getting to a very important point. What did that teach me? It's less about the thoughts. It's less about, seeing something or thinking, oh, I'm going to win £1 million or whatever. But it's more about the energy and the feeling around it. Beth said it's the not being attached to the outcome. That's what I've come to understand too. Yeah. Thank you. Great story. It's a good story. I'll have to manifest that again, I think. So it's all about the energy. It's not so much what it is, because the difference, the excitement, the adventure, this being able to, to experience it with joy is sitting there on the one hand. This is very energizing. This is very full. This is very fluid. This has a lot of, if you could measure the energy, it pushes far, right? The fear is the same thing. The fear also is quite energizing. So we might deem this as negative, as a negative emotion, but fear is also quite a heavy emotion. Excitement is heavy. I don't know how to explain it. If you saw them as balls, then the excitement, it would be full, the fear would be full, if that makes sense. The universe kind of doesn't care what it is, whether you're coming from fear, whether you're coming from excitement, whether you're coming from whatever. What it cares about is that energy. And if there's either of those energies behind it, that is what is going to manifest for you. So what did I learn here? That it's important to have the right energy behind it. This also helped me explain why we are so good at manifesting what we don't want. We have our weekly, this happens every week, we have our weekly spammer, Diola. We're just going to send her off, so don't reply to her. Every week this happens. And here she is. I'm just going to bring you a bit closer to me. Yes, so it's more about the energy, and this is where we really need to come into our strength with it. I can't just sit here and think, I know, I am going to manifest £1 million, and then that's it. Yes, then I'm not attached and I've let it go. But there's, you know, if I'm just kind of thinking it, I'm not putting any fuel behind it. And if I'm going to go a little off subject here, but just putting in the Akashic Records in here. If you think about the Akashic Records, and those of you that have done any Akashic work with me, you will know that what writes a bigger record, or what has a stronger influence on us, is something that is highly energized, something that has a lot of fuel to it. So it works in the same thing. We're not working separately. I'm just going to put you down because it looks like I'm floating. There we go. Is that a bit better? There we go. Just felt like my head was bobbing up and down there. Okay, so hopefully so far this makes sense. I don't know if my comments have stopped since I've blocked Diola, so if somebody could just write something, let me know if this is all hitting home and resonating, and if you have any questions, that would be awesome. Okay, I got a heart. Okay, so what do we do? How do we manifest? Is that a good question to ask? Yes. So let's take my example, my little story for yeah, I don't think I'm seeing your comments, guys. And I don't think I can comment anymore. So I don't think I can see your comments anymore. Oh, there's Jackie again. Thank you, Jackie. You've swung them back in. Okay, so what do we do? First of all, the most important thing is to find out what it is that we want. That's number one. In fact, even before number one, is to start to understand where we're resonating. Could put out a definition or explain fuel. Yeah, so the fuel is like the energy that's sitting behind it. So whether I am in fear or I am in excitement, it has a lot of potency to it. If you imagine them as like energy balls, if I just kind of say something flippantly, then that is, you know, that might go out there, but it doesn't have much like weight to it. How can I explain this? I'll tell you what, Kelly, let me talk about, hey Emma, let me talk about how the process works, and then this might help help you understand this. Okay, so this is my understanding. So first of all, we want to put out our want, our desire. So that desire might be free Disney tickets, right? So we put that out there, or just Disney tickets. We're gonna put out whether I want to go to Disneyland. That's it. That's what I'm putting out there. As soon as we have that thought, what happens is we like launch this, if in doubt, use a crystal. We launch this energy ball out into our field, out into the matrix, out into this energetic vortex, which is what Abrahamhicks described it, this energetic vortex that is spinning around us, right? And it's there spinning. Every time we then think about this in the positive, in the, you know, in the excitement, we are making this ball larger, right? It is becoming weightier. And if you imagine it like a magnet, that the bigger it is, the more pull it has to it. So the more we are fueling it with desire, with excitement, with love, with, you know, positive thinking, even with action, right? Even with action, because often, and we'll talk about this, we have to take action in order to bring it to us. Because what is action? Action is a positive movement. Action is making this bigger. So every time we do things like that, we are making this bigger. So we're bringing the resonance of this, in this case the Disney tickets, closer to us. Yes, the rockets of desire. Right? So every time we are consciously manifesting, we are bringing the vibrancy into this. This is becoming bigger, the magnetic pull is becoming bigger, and so the end result is becoming closer. It's a bigger magnet being drawn into us. Along the way, what may happen, one of these, some of the circumstances may come in, might be a thing lands in my inbox saying, apply for this questionnaire. Fill in this questionnaire. You think, oh, cool, what's that? And then you scroll down and it says, anyone who fills in this questionnaire will get free Disney tickets. And you'll be like, okay, but guess what you have to do? Fill in the questionnaire. What that is doing is it's starting to co-create. We are starting to take action towards our desire. And it's okay to, and then we'll start to bring that in closer. But then on the flip side, what happens if we start going, oh, I don't deserve it. This will never happen. What if I get there and this and this and this happens? Or I just don't deserve that. Then what happens is this kind of, you get this other ball flying around in your vortex going, oh no, she doesn't want it. She wants something else. She wants lack. She wants to just be sitting at home feeling bad. And if that's bigger, if you're putting more thought into that than into this, then guess what's going to come to you? It's going to be whatever it is that is resonating stronger, and whatever it is that you are putting more thought to. Remember how I started this. If you say you can or you say you can't, you're probably right. Yeah? The universe is always listening. Your subconscious mind is always listening. And to me, it makes it, I don't mind whether or not you are thinking about this in terms of psychology, in terms of magic, or in terms of energy. At the end of the day, if you put your thought to something, then it will start to come in. Ada said, is it okay to manifest things and not manifest being a better human? I mean, is it for our ego, to our highest good, manifesting a little hut in the mountains, for example? Okay. We're getting deep quick, as I say that. We are already half an hour in. Okay, so let me step that back again. Do I think it's wrong to manifest free Disney tickets or a hut in the mountain? No. If that's what's going to make you happy, that we are manifesting all day, every day, because this is a law. This is going on whether we are consciously aware of it or not. So if there's something that will contribute to our happiness, yes, then why wouldn't we bring our focus to that? Because me showing up as a happy, confident, contented human, why not attitude? Is it manifesting? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, Irana, why not? Yes, we'll talk about that. Okay, so if there's something that is conducive to making me happy, then what's going to happen is I'm going to show up as a happier human being. And if I'm a happier human being, studies have shown that a happier being is more generous. Yeah, that we are filling our purpose more, that we are, making better connections. So why on earth would we be wasting our time or being selfish if we are doing something that is making us happy? Having said that, let's step that back. If I decide that I want to manifest, I don't know, if I'm like Lex Luthor, right, and I want to manifest something that is, that's not good. It's not good for humankind. It's, it's going to be detrimental to somebody else. It's taking, okay, let's talk about a house, because this comes up often. I want to talk about this. If I decide that I want to manifest that house, and it's that house, and it has to be that house, then So Ada said about manifesting a house in the mountains. Yes, manifest a house in the mountains. Hold that. But what do we do here? We're manifesting the lifestyle. We're looking at I think I'll talk more about this next week, but we're looking at the feelings to how that's going to make us feel. We are manifesting the lifestyle. But when it comes to manifesting that house number 22, Mountain View, whatever, right? Then there may be consequences to that. Because if I'm coming at it just from my point of view, I want that house and I want to live in it because that's got the perfect view of the whatever, then what about the people that are already living there? What about the life that they have built? Because it can turn to, and I have seen this, that people are like, well, I don't care, you know, if whatever, I don't care what happens to them, I want to have that house. Maybe that house is perfect for those people. Maybe they've manifested that house for those people because they live next door to their mother-in-law who needs that special help or whatever. Right? So it can be, you've got to look at what you're doing because you want to do this for the greater good, because this is what I've learned. Yes, in my world, the universe revolves around me. The universe is always listening to me. However, we live in a greater web. In order for me to get my Disney tickets that time, I put that thought out there. It was spinning around. How we got it was a friend of my brother's worked at Disney and gave him tickets. Or their brother or something worked at Disney, and so that's how they gave us tickets. So what happened is my desire and our desire, we want to all do this together, somehow like made a connection to them, that, you know, they had these spare tickets going, it was doing them good, we made that connection, we took them out for dinner, you know, they received something else too. There was a mutual benefit. Nobody was getting... there was nothing detrimental going on there. But in order for me to get that house, that person might need to, I don't know, lose all their money, or I don't know, right? So it's just thinking about what it is you're doing. So if you want to have the house in the mountains, go for it. Go and grab the house in the mountains. If you've got that house in the mountains that you've seen that is your dream house, hold that in your thoughts and ask for that or better. That or better. Don't put all of your hopes and dreams just on that one. Because then what you are doing is you're ring fencing. You're telling the universe this is how it has to be. And the universe wants you to receive that happiness. It's constantly... feeding back. It's like this feedback loop that's constantly happening, that I put that thought on and it's bringing it back. And from my experience, whatever is the strongest energy, that is what is going to return to us. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So what's going on here? So rather than just thinking, all right, I want to manifest that car or I want to manifest that house, we think about how that's going to help us. So Ada's idea of the house in the mountains. How's that going to help you? And then here is the do you know what's funny, Ada, is Beth has a house in the mountains that she totally manifested. Beth said, great explanation. Don't make a fixed plan, have a vision, and then you give the universe a chance to give. And Kerry says, would you recommend saying for the highest good? Yeah, for the highest good, that or better. You know, for my highest ascension, for my highest vibration, for the good of me and all those connected to me. I like that one. Or for the good of me and everybody. So we're holding that. We want this thing because is it that house or that car or that particular thing that we want? No, it's that lifestyle. It's that feeling. It's the, how we feel when we wake up in the morning. It's the, what can I do there? Because maybe it's the house in the mountains that's going to inspire you with that view to write that book. And then you write that book, and then that touches these people. And then those people are touched, and so they go on to touch others. Because if you put it out there that I want this, yes, for my happiness. Like, don't be shy about wanting to be happy. Ada, yes, the universe wants you to be happy, because why wouldn't it? Because when you are happy and you are content and you are like in your abundance, then you are giving more. Always think about it. Think about when if somebody's just done something great for you, what do? You pay it forward. Somebody smiles at you, you smile back. Somebody lets you through in traffic, you're more likely to let the next person through. If I'm happy, I'm giving out happy. And I don't know, I can't remember what that saying is, like a smile, like it doesn't stop with you, or the smile is the most contagious thing. I smile at you, you smile at them, they smile at them. The world is a happier place. And of course the world wants to be a happier place, because then we're looking after each other more, then we're looking after the earth more, then we're doing things that are more, high vibrational. Beth, yes, here I am on my mountain, windy day today, but still love it. So, following on from that thought, how do we make this work for us better? We make it bigger than us. Yes, I want to be happy because of all those reasons that I just mentioned. But I make it bigger than me, because then I am linking in with all of these other desires, rockets of desire, all of these other, people stepping up and doing this and, doing what they want and manifesting this, putting their thoughts out. If I'm stepping up at the same time as them, then suddenly we are linked in this massive web. And it's like, if I ping my web here going, yeah, I'm going to do this and I want to show up doing this, then the person here is like, oh, I've got this thing to offer, or I really want to sell my house. And then suddenly, as if by magic, here we are linked together. And this is what we mean by the universe is conspiring. All of us are connected. But if I make this bigger than me, let's take this show, for example. This show was conceived one day of, I'd quite like to start to get onto YouTube. That's kind of where it began. And rather than, I want to be on YouTube because my kids will think I'm really cool. They do, by the way. And if you're watching, 30 subscribers. But rather than, just kind of making this about me and, I can do all of this stuff. This was like, okay, what can I share that can benefit other people? Because maybe there's somebody here that's been thinking, or somebody that's watching this at a later date that's thinking, I'd really like to learn about the law of attraction, but, it's always been, just out of reach for me, or I really worry that I'm going to manifest an earthquake. Just from thinking about one. So I make it bigger than me. I make it something that is not just going to benefit me, it's going to benefit other people too. Because then if she or he watches my show and receives something from it, then maybe then they'll manifest something and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. When I make it bigger than me, the universe goes, okay, it's not just her that is benefiting from this. And then it's got forces. I spoke about forces. My force, my excitement is giving one whoosh. But imagine I had 12 people watching this. Imagine I had 12 other whooshes, all feeding into this, all helping this success. Is that not more powerful? And if you think of that about these rockets of desire, or about this web, you can understand how then, this rocket is heavier, it is more fueled, it is more energized. And so like a giant magnet, it's going to start to attract more to me. If that makes sense. Okay, I need to tea. Which, by the way, will probably now be my thumbnail, or me doing this. Because Facebook loves to do that. Okay, so a couple of things I want to get clear, because I've started to speak about, the earthquake thing and the lack of having things. So what do we do then? What do we do when we start to think about the lack, and then we're like, holy days, I am now manifesting the exact same thing that I don't want. What is it that they say? What you resist persists. What you fear comes true. What's going on there? The fear of something holds that energy of, it holds a weight. And if I start putting it out there and I'm coming from lack, I'm coming from fear, then unfortunately what the universe is hearing is lack and fear. And so just like any other, rocket of desire I'm going in, the universe doesn't know whether this is good or bad. It just is. It just is. Okay? But we know. And how do we know? Because we have these amazing things called feelings. And feelings are, in my opinion, from The Secret, which I'm not dissing because it did a lot for me, is where the information kind of stops. Because the feeling is what, the feeling is what gives us a guidance as to whether this is something that we do want or something that we don't want. Yeah? The feeling helps us understand whether we are moving towards something or moving away from something. The feeling helps us understand where we are with it. So the feeling is not just an energy energizing my my thought. The feeling is also either pushing it away from me, so it's further away in my vortex, or it is bringing it closer to me. So it's going to manifest quicker. But then what happens when we have that negative thought, or that thought of that thing that we don't want? Well, this is what we do. Remember my story, from those of you that were here at the beginning, about the earthquake scenario. You use what you don't want, and you know you don't want it because you feel bad. Right? You get a feeling that doesn't feel expansive and, like you're moving towards something. You take that feeling and you find the opposite. So when I was thinking about the earthquake, what was the opposite? It was safety. For me, the opposite of the earthquake was safety. It was having fun. It was being, and doing these things. So you find the opposite. So what do I mean by this? Don't say, I'm going to have a picnic. I don't want it to rain. By the way, totally, and there's a couple of you watching here that were at my wedding. I live in the UK. We had our wedding in May, and on the hottest day of the year, outdoors. I wanted it to be outdoors, and we had the one hot weekend in May, and then it tipped it down from the whole time we were on our honeymoon. So how did we do this? I envisaged it. I was like, and I'm not going to lie, when I was told, when it needs to be dry, and it needs to have been dry for 4 days beforehand so that people aren't sinking the ground, I was like, okay, oh my God, what if it rains? I'm going to have to be in this room. I don't want to be in this room. Blah, 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 blah. So what did I do? I switched it round. Thank you. We'll come into that in a minute. Thank you for making my wedding day sunny. Thank you for giving me the perfect weather for my wedding day. And I saw the guests sitting outside enjoying their glass of, Bellinis or whatever we had, and, enjoying that, and, me being in the dress and just kind of feeling warm and being outside. And, I even I remember even saying to the wedding planner, I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'll order the weather, you do the rest of it, right? when we have a thought of lack or a thought of not wanting, we turn it into the positive. Not, I do not want rain. Yes, I want sunshine. Thank you for the sunshine. And then when you feel yourself fearing, oh my God, what if I don't get the sun? What if it starts raining? What if it does this? And you're bringing all of that. Don't bypass it. Don't go, okay, just sit with it and go, okay, I hear you. Thank you for reminding me how much I care about this. And use it as a reminder to put that positive thought out. Because those negative thoughts really are a very strong reminder. They really grab our attention, more so often than the positive thoughts. They're like, hey, remember this? What if this? So it's about just switching it into the positive of what it is that you do want. We'll talk about this maybe next week, but this is where things kind of get a bit grey, because you hear, oh, good vibes only love and light here. That is kind of true for manifesting when you're doing something simple like that. However, have we got time to talk about this? Let's start anyway. The universe is not just responding to our thoughts. Yes, our thoughts create a vibration, and the vibration is going out there. But the truth is, it is the energy behind the thoughts that is actually really creating. The energy is stronger. If you think about, the vibrations, the physical is the biggest thing. The physical is is the slowest vibration, if you like. It's the heaviest thing. The emotions sit on top of it, so it's heavier. It has more density, it has more energy to it. The mental sits on top of that. It's lighter, and then the spirit sits on top of this. Yeah. So it's the emotions carry more of a charge than just the thought. So Max asks, what can you change with grief? This is where I'm going with this. If you are sitting there feeling grief, and you're feeling, you've got all of this emotion, this heavy emotion inside you, it's very hard to switch that into a sunny love and light thing, right? You need to deal with this grief in order to move it through you and release it from you. You can turn it, you can use the grief. You could say this isn't about the law of attraction, but it is, because the universe is constantly responding to our vibration. And if we are holding and sitting on grief, worry, fear, lack, or the kind of darker end, I suppose, of these polarities, then that is giving out a stronger message than any thoughts that we have in our mind. And if I'm sitting there, if my energy is heavy, it doesn't matter how many thoughts I have about something else. I'm only going to get so far, because the universe is responding to that energy first. So what do I do with grief? What do I do with loneliness? What do I do with all of this stuff? You've got to feel it. You've got to allow it to move through, because otherwise it's just going to sit there and fester. This is where, what is grief? It's a reminder of love, right? It's love with nowhere to go. So if you can feel the grief and allow it to move through us, and and let the tears come out, because what are tears? Tears are releasing the physical, that's the heaviest of the energies. It is releasing that. It's literally making room for more goodness. So we use our tools, whether that is through speaking, counseling, through crying, through body movement, through breath work, through yoga, through, you know, there's so many amazing things that we can do, that we have access to nowadays. Do not ever let anybody say to you, oh, turn that frown upside down. Like, yes, there's a nugget of truth in that, but that's only going to get you so far, because energetically that needs to move through you. So just like, I know, Matt, you've done a lot of work in the Akashic Records, you know, if you think about our grief or this feeling as being a big heavy book in the records, if I'm then trying to write a new book, which is all about love and life and sunshine, I've got to write a big old novel in order to counteract what's going on here. But actually, if I can, you know, read that book, shed the light on it, not dip in it, not let that be my story, because if grief becomes my story, then what am I doing? I'm telling that grief over and over and over and over again, and so I'm making that book bigger. But I allow it to move through and to you know, release through me. Well, then I can start to create that new story. And if grief is a reminder of how much we love somebody or something that we have lost, then actually what is the nugget of grief? It's love. And so then love can fuel our manifestations. Bobby has said, what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So the belief or motion has the stronger ability to manifest. You have to see it, taste it, and touch it. Exactly, yes. The belief or emotion had the stronger ability to manifest. Yes. So you can think of something, you've seen it in the outer world, and you're like, I could do that. I could do that. I'm going to manifest that. I'm going to get that. If the belief came in that, like, I can't do that, you know, the teacher told us you're not good enough, and we've got that voice going on in our head. And, you know, society's saying, no, the woman needs to stay at home, or like whatever it is. Like, you know, and your ancestors, or, you know, all of this energy is coming in saying to you, no. You've got to deal with that. You've got to let that spur you on. You've got to understand that, to release that energy. Otherwise, the belief is going to keep pulling you back into no, you can't. So all of this stuff I was talking about with things like the free Disney tickets, this is quite surface stuff. This is like, you know, I want to manifest, you know, this or that. And I think next week we should talk a little bit more about the real, like, depth of things, you know, and how, you know, how to release that shadow, how to you know, how to work with that to move it through you. But we said grief is a process. We have to go through it. We can't manifest happiness with that. It has to be worked through, but we can use tools to help you through it. Yeah, exactly. Because I've said this before, you know, our body takes score. Our body is always holding score. And if you remember that our body is our biggest, you know, our heaviest vibration, which is why I think things like body work and you'll think I'm nuts, but things like interpretive dance, art can really be, and writing things down, you know, can really be awesome manifesting tools, vision boards and all of this stuff. They can be amazing because you're bringing something into the physical. But we need to make sure that we are dealing with the underlying beliefs to help move through. This is where things like tapping can help, and trauma release, and soul transformation therapy, and hypnotherapy, and all these amazing things that we can do just to help, you know, shadow work. I am definitely going to do one of these on shadow work at some point. Okay, we have got about 5 minutes, so I would love to use this time to take any questions, just to give me any feedback. I am just looking back through the questions just to make sure. Kelly, hopefully it's clearer about the fuel thing. I'm kind of talking about energy. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm just going to give you a few little tips. Next week, I'm going to talk about the, what do they call it? It's the emotion scale, because that is super interesting about how to raise the vibration and to help go through grief. So do remind me on that. But a few things that you can do between now and then. So I'm talking about, the traditional, I want to manifest the whatever it is. What can we do? First of all, I alluded to it earlier, and we'll talk about this more next week. Start with gratitude. So like I said with the Disney tickets, and like I said with the wedding, I was coming on from this place of gratitude and this place of fun. I'm also, as Beth picked up on, I am letting go of the hows and whys, but I'm still taking action. So I'm putting it out there. The universe is going to start to, I had started to do a list of steps, but the explanations got in the way. That is so me. Should we do the steps? I'm going to do the steps. Keep me on track, guys. Okay. 1, think it. Think of what it is that you want to have. 2, bring gratitude into it. Come at it from this place of thank you. Thank you to this abundant universe for allowing this to come to me. And you know what will happen? You will start to see this happening, right? You will start to see other people with it. And when you see other people with it, you know what you do? Thank you. Thank you for showing me that this is possible. Why are we saying thank you? Because thank you is a high vibration. Thank you is fueling that energy with a very high vibration. 3, when you start to think of the lack of, because that kitty always comes up, when you start to think of the lack of, you switch it to the having of. You turn the lack into the having. You turn the negative, you turn that don't want it to rain to want it to be sunny. Yeah? So you change the negative, the don't, to the do. 4, act as if you already have it. Am I on 4? I don't know. Act as if you already have it. Because what you're doing there, then you are bringing the physical into the energetics. So what do I mean by that? So Ada gave the example of having the house in the mountains. How can I act as if I'm doing that? I can go for walks in the mountains. I can even, have a little look at, the local furniture shop. Oh, I would have this there. I would have that there. You could look at views of mountains. You could get that feeling of freedom. If it's freedom that you want from the place in the mountains, you go and you find that way of having freedom, whatever that is. For me, that would be like going and walking in the woods or, being in that environment. Act as if you already have it. That is making a massive statement of the universe. 5, take steps. Take inspired action. Step 4.5. Be open to the signs and synchronicities that the universe is showing you. So like I said with the, you might get the email that says, oh, there's this house for sale. This advert pops up. Facebook's very good at that. Whatever it is, you need to start taking inspired action. You can't just sit back and go, I'm just going to sit here on my own and just let it come to me. Take inspired action. Take that step that your intuition is giving you, even if it feels a little bit like, why is my intuition telling me to go to this supermarket instead of that one. Maybe there's there's another piece of that web that's trying to come through. Is there a step 6? Keep coming into gratitude. I'm whizzing you back to that. Keep coming into gratitude. Here's a good one. I am grateful. I am rich. I am free. I am abundant. You bring it in. Make the statements. Tell yourself. And if that brings up feelings of lack and feelings of whatever, then you work with that. And that's going to be a whole nother show, so we can't go into that too. And then when you receive it, or you receive a version of it, so that's great with parking spaces. Give thanks again. Thank you, universe, for your abundant nature and for delivering to me exactly what I needed. And here's the last step. Pay it forward. If you've received it and the universe has done this thing that you wanted, pay it forward, because probably there was something in that desire that is benefiting humanity. You pay it forward, you will get more and more of the same. And that, my friends, is the keys to manifestation. Attitude of gratitude. Okay, so next week we are gonna stick to the subject of manifesting, but we are going to be talking about how our feelings, we're going to be talking about heart-centered manifesting. So this was the Disney tickets things. This next one is, starting that business, finding the home, finding the lifestyle. We're going to talk about that. So any questions, please pop them. I will put the event on there again. I think this has worked quite well. Any questions, please email me with it. And Julie, I know you're watching on the replay. I think those questions that you asked me are perfect for next week, so we'll go in that as well. I'm getting loads of thank yous, so thank you guys, everybody, for watching. And if you know anyone that you think would benefit from this, then please send it over, share it. Can I write the 7 steps somewhere? Yeah, I will. I can't remember what I said, but I will listen to it and I can write it back, or if one of you wants to jot them down, then it will. This will be on my YouTube channel very soon. Subscribe and like if you can. And yeah, keep in touch, and I will see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Have an amazing evening, and thank you everybody for watching. Grateful for you too, Ioana. And you know what I'm going to say? Why not? Take care.